Hey everyone, Effie here. Today I made this beautiful card for day 3 of our Instagram hop. Head over to our Instagram profile, link in description box to start hopping for more inspiration by special guests and our team members. For this card today, I used our Radiant Roses dies and I just used our 5x7-inch stamp pouches to store the dies. Our Radiant Roses consists of 5 dies. There are 3 floral layering dies. And I'm just going to use 3 shades of blue cardstock to die cut these 3 dies. And then there are 2 separate foliage dies. What's special about this die collection is that for each layer, all the images are consolidated on one die so that you don't have individual dies that you're cutting. And it's just less effort that you need to expend when you're creating. For the 2 foliage dies, I'm just going to use 2 different shades of green cardstock, and I'm going to die cut all of the pieces in one shot using the Mamaluca size Gemini machine. So I'm just going to cut everything out at once. For the first lightest layer, there are 8 pieces. This is a floral layer. For the second layer, there are also 8 pieces. For the third layer, there are 4 pieces. And then for the leaf layers, the lightest first layer, you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces, and then 5 pieces for that second layer. Now let's start with assembling by going with that most solid layer. This is the largest 2 pieces for the solid first and second layers. It's easy to identify because they are the largest pieces that we've cut out. And these 2 pieces are the next smaller pieces. Now, this one is a little bit flatter. It's going to go with this piece. For this piece, you can see the slit right on the left side. And then on the solid piece, there's also a similar slit. So that's how you're going to identify which piece goes on which first layer piece. And then for the last piece, they're just the smallest die cuts. And that's easy to identify. So next, let's just glue everything on. And I'm using Thermoweb's Ultra Bond glue. This is really great liquid adhesive. I also have that precision metal tip that helps with getting into all these little nooks and crannies. Next, I'm going to start assembling the buds. There are 4 pieces per layer, and they're just 2-step buds. And these are pretty easy to figure out how to layer. So I'm going to assemble the final layer on the florals. Again, the largest piece is the easiest to identify for the largest rose. Just line up this indentation you see right here with the indentation on the largest rose. For the next 3rd layer piece, you're going to take the next piece that has that indentation on the bottom portion of that piece, and you're going to apply this to the rose that has that slit on the left side. And then for the next piece, you can see that it's a little flatter and it coordinates with the slightly flatter rose. And you're just going to glue it on, similar to what we've been doing with the other 2 pieces. And then the last piece, again, is easy to identify with that last rose because it is the smallest. So these are really easy to assemble once you figure out which pieces go where. Next, I'm going to start assembling the foliage. These are the stems for the buds. Then I'll start assembling the second layer for the larger leaf clusters. And these are easy to apply also because you can see there's a smaller piece and then a larger piece. And then you have 3 second layer pieces for the 3 leaves. And this is how everything looks when they are completely assembled. The pieces look really gorgeous. Today I'm going to make a slimline card, and I'm using our new quilted slimline die. I've die cut it onto white cardstock. Now I'm just going to start positioning my floral die cuts. As you can see, I have the largest die cut on the bottom right hand side and the second largest floral on the top left hand side in the opposite corner. I spread out the 2 largest die cuts on my slimline card so that we don't have all the largest pieces along one corner. This way you have everything spaced out on your card and it's a little bit more balanced rather than being more heavy-handed on one side. I'm popping everything up with some dimensional foam tape, and you can see I'm kind of going back and forth in some areas with my foliage pieces. So it's a good way to pre-plan your layout. You don't have to commit, and then once you're finally done, you can add that foam tape. So this is the final layout. I absolutely love the way it came out. So now let's work on the sentiment. I'm using our Ribbons Affirmation patent pending grouped layering set. I'm going to start off by stamping the darkest second layer, and then I'm going to take that first layer stamp, match up or align those bars and squares, and then ink this up with my lighter ink, which is the Cali Blue ink. The second layer I used Azurite dye ink. Once everything's completely stamped, this is what your finished panel will look like. I'll take the coordinating grouped layering die and lay it over my completely stamped panel, and then I'll run it through my die cutting machine, cutting all of the pieces at once. For today's card, I'm going to use the Wonderful Sentiment. Now, off screen or off camera, I die cut the same die twice on some heavyweight cardstock, and I took the Wonderful die cut and I stacked them together to create a more dimensional sentiment. Then I took the have, and day sentiments from the same stamp set, stamped them onto sentiment strips, and then cut them out accordingly. Next, I glued down the Wonderful Sentiment and popped up these two smaller add-on sentiments. We are almost done here. Lastly, I'm just going to add some beautiful and subtle dewdrop enamel dots, and I'm going to stick them on to my card in visual triangles all along the card. And it doesn't really matter if you add too much. There's no such thing because they are very subtle and can't really go overboard with these things. So this is my completed card. If you haven't done so already, head over to our Instagram profile to begin hopping and to check out all of the inspiration by our special guests and our team members. After today, there's one more day left to celebrate the rest of our 6th anniversary festivities. We have our 4th day of our Instagram hop tomorrow. So be sure to head over to our Instagram, follow us, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because I am updating it regularly. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.